There are superpowers in Pokemon, and we don't really talk about that. First off, my name's Dolly, welcome back to another video, and today we're going over something that should probably have stayed in a random thoughts tweet. As a universe, you don't really think about people having powers in Pokemon. Even though it's been a thing since Gen 1, the idea of someone having powers that let them fight Pokemon feels like a fanfiction idea. Yet it exists. To my knowledge, we have around 4 instances of unnatural abilities in people. First off, we have the Psychics. Sabrina is the most prominent example, even though we have plenty of random trainers that have psychic abilities. Sabrina wasn't just some 2-bit force user either. Beyond your standard telekinesis, teleportation, and telepathy, in the anime she was able to shrink down people to play in her dollhouse. On Bulbapedia, one of her powers is labeled as transmutation, which that might be the dollhouse thing. But I don't really know how psychic powers translate to straight up magic and alchemy, but it's a thing. That might just be a part of Pokemon Season 1 acid trip though. You know how in the Kanto anime, anything could happen and we don't really question it because they didn't have a tight grip on the universe? Gotta love it. Speaking of Gen 1, we have mediums. Mediums is sort of a broad term I'm using here. They've appeared as ghost trainers and psychic trainers, but I'm focusing on the ghostly aspects here. Another term that we could use that fits is the channeler trainer class. Ghosts aren't a new thing in Pokemon. And I mean actual ghosts. We have plenty of instances of Pokemon and humans dying and becoming legitimate spirits. Which does raise the question of what a ghost Pokemon actually is. I do have a big fanfiction-y answer for that, but I'll save that when I do a legendary lore on Giratina. We don't have any direct info about someone using straight-up ghost powers and not being a ghost, though. Phasing, going through shadows, maybe forming a shadow ball, it's all potentially there, but we've just never seen it, unlike with psychics and their abilities. Mostly trainers with ghost-related abilities have the medium powers of being able to sense and banish spirits. The channeler trainer class, also known as priestesses, shamans, and mediums, do have a weird line about saying they were possessed after being beaten in battle. It's unknown if this is a willing thing, like taking in a powerful spirit into your body to enhance your abilities, or they're straight up getting taken over. I'd like to think the former, as straight up possession makes me question the quality of these shamans. You're in a tower full of ghosts and you're all possessed? How good of shamans are you actually? Plus, channeler. Channeling ghosts into your body, right? If we were to see trainers with actual ghost abilities that manipulate shadows and otherworldly presences, I think Agatha, Morty, and Acerola would be prime candidates to display it. Acerola in the anime even has an actual ghost friend. Now you may be wondering why I'm covering this. Well, I think mediums have a power we don't talk about, and that is the weird ritual circle in the Pokemon Tower. We don't know what it is, we don't know how it's made, but stepping into it heals your Pokemon team to full. In Gen 1, there's a line of it being related to white magic, so magic is also real. Okay, I don't think it's actually magic. Based on the facts that they're ghost-type specialists called channelers, I think it's safe to assume they channel ghost-type energy into these arcane circles. Why? Well, what's super effective on ghosts? That's right, ghost types. Makes sense there. It's not throwing around shadow balls or creating phantom force portals, but I can imagine ritual casting to be in the ghostly power arsenal. It is weird we've never seen this again, though. I mean, we do have the spell tag and cleanse tag items, which could be related to this. Unlike with psychics, this is all more broad and up for discussion, though. On the more physical side, we're still in Gen 1 when we have fighters. Okay, this is also sort of an unconfirmed thing, as this isn't actually a power. However, throughout all of Pokemon, it is incredibly common for fighting type specialists to train and fight their fighting Pokemon. Now, it could be that these people are just working out and sparring like a regular person could. However, I think they are focusing a power through their body to enhance them and make them stronger. It comes down to a single move, Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere is a fighting type technique. Why? Because Lucario's fighting type? What is Aura? Aura was the fourth power I wanted to talk about, but it sort of blends into here. I want to say Aura is just fighting type energy like Focus Blast, but it feels more like something related to Ki or Chakra, where it mixes the physical and spiritual energies within oneself to make them stronger. Look at what it can do! It has aspects of fighting, psychic, and ghost types. We have telepathy, sensing surroundings, sense people through telepathic visions, talking to the dead, and creating barriers and attacks. We have fighting, ghost, and psychics all in one here. What the fuck is Aura? It is a weird power system we have in Pokemon that is really unexplained despite having a movie, a Lucario arc, and more. It gives you a ton of powers that just you can do stuff with, and then it talks about auras like Ash has the same aura as Sir Aaron, but we don't exactly know what that actually means. What does that mean, Pokemon? Are they the same person? Is Ash a reincarnation? I mean, we had that Spiritomb episode where it had a guy who kind of looked like Ash with a Pikachu companion seal a Spiritomb away. So is Ash a reincarnation of a long line of spirit fighters or aura users? We don't know. Is it your soul? Your fighting spirit? Mental powers? Who fucking knows? I go over all this to say powers in Pokemon are weird, especially ones that humans can channel. It does raise a question. Will we or should we see more? I mean, we have 18 types here. It makes sense for the first 3, and I'm not going to touch Aura. Fighting power focuses on the body, psychics focus on the mind, and spiritual power / talking with the dead are sort of a universal concept when it comes to anything, really. Most of the rest seem out of pocket for some reason though. Like imagine someone able to channel dragon or fairy type power. The Draconoid clan of Meteor Falls seem like prime candidates to give us people with dragon related abilities. It could even be less about powers and more like they're sort of draconic themselves. Like just take this clan, give them like enhanced physical strength, they're bulkier than people, they're stronger than normal. They might have like little fangs or something and like, you know, those like cat slit dragon eyes, you know, the slitted eyes. Is there an official name for that? Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. If you want explanations on what dragon and fairy type power is, I recommend these videos by Loxton. They're what I go off of and they're very good. So if you're curious what I actually mean by dragon and fairy power, other than just the broad terms Pokemon gives us, this is a great way to figure it out. On a different note, swimmers in Pokemon are weird. Are they using water-type Pokemon powers? I mean, you can't swim in Pokemon games, and these guys are out in the middle of the fucking ocean with nothing around. That takes some serious physical capabilities to do. I mean, like, one person I can imagine being able to do that, but all of them are able to do that. Like, how are they able to actually do that unless they can swim as well as water Pokemon? Sages are a thing in Pokemon. Who's to say they can't channel some grass-type energy? Maybe cause a little frenzy plant themselves. I can see them shooting an energy ball out. Communing with nature, the like in the works. Maybe they worship Celebi. That'd be a pretty interesting kind of part of the world, a little sect of sages that worship Celebi and help keep forests healthy and do all that stuff. Narrowing it down, I'd say the weirdest two would be bug and dark type powers. Like bug powers feel like Spider-Man-esque where you need to develop insect-like appendages or a web sac or something kind of ugh for that. Like maybe you could stick to walls, but all bug powers feel more like you need parts of your body to be insectoid to actually use them. The only thing that I could actually see working is, and it's sort of like a cool world thing I always thought of, is like, what if all the bug Pokemon were connected by one universal hive mind? Which is why the energy is sort of super effective on psychic types, because it's this hive mind-esque energy and it's hard to break into their brains and all that. I mean, that would kind of make more sense if bugs resisted psychic, which I wish they did. Gives bugs more love. So maybe, I mean, riding back to all this, maybe a human can connect with their hive mind into the hive mind and talk to all the bugs or some crap like that. I don't know, I'm spitballing here. Dark types, though, just make my head hurt. Dark is the evil type, and the main idea of Pokemon being dark types is that they're sinister in nature, for the most part. Some don't really fit, but are still dark type anyways, but that's sort of the concept of the dark type. But what is dark type power? It's super effective on ghosts and psychics, so exists in that sort of realm with them, which makes it the next likely candidate to be shown as actual powers. But is it just bad vibes? I mean, Mega Absol and Galarian Moltres are described as having sinister auras, so maybe dark type energy is bad aura? I mean, that would kind of make sense why fighting is super effective against dark, because maybe they're channeling like the good aura and it's bashing the bad aura. Though I always imagined that the reason why fighting types is super effective dark is the honorable fighter versus the sneaky fighter, you know, and the honorable fighter is like stronger and has like actual power versus the guy who's like, oh, I'm gonna stab you in the ribs because that's the weak shot, you know, right there. I mean, both could work. Also, on the other hand, we have moves that are related to black holes, which also makes me think of void energy. Like, dark types can absorb the energy of others, which is why psychic and ghost powers aren't effective against it. It's like eating away at them like a black hole. For a weird third thing, we have Zoroark and its unique illusion ability, but then again, it can use it as a ghost/normal type, so that might be an it thing and not something related to being a dark type. Like, it helps it being a dark type in the first place, but it's not a dark type power per se. I say all this to point out how weird Pokemon superpowers are. Some types make sense for humans to be able to use, while others feel like we're writing fanfiction here. Which, that's not a knock against fanfiction. There are actually some really good fanfics out there. I'm getting off track. Personally, I feel like Grass, Fairy, Dark, and Dragon powers make the most sense. If you can trace back the energy to a likely source, I think it works. The rest of the elemental types feel more out of the realm. Like, most Pokemon need special organs or physiologies to use these powers. Anyways, did I miss any weird Pokemon powers here? Are there any types you'd like to see people be able to use? Or do the core 3 and Aura cover all our bases? Let me know down below. I thought these videos are fun on occasion. I like Gator EX's channel, and he does sort of like all these videos where he talks about whatever topic he wants in a much more streamlined and actually informative fashion. But I kind of want to do something like that, but it's kind of more me rambling. It's no big message here, but it kind of gets you thinking. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time.